makes me think about the containment stuff a lot, with the masculine containment and the feminine
Like I said,
softness.
it's the missing component, I think, to a lot of the guys that would struggle with being a nice guy, quote unquote. They're missing that containment because they think, oh, I just got to let the woman be free, do whatever she wants, because they're very afraid to be controlling, perhaps. But like what Teal Swan says, like there's a happy medium in there where it's like she wants to feel your presence, that you're actually caring and protective of her. But some people, they're afraid. They're afraid, oh, I don't want to be considered controlling. I don't want to be considered narcissistic. So they just let the woman do whatever she wants. And I guess what Teal Swan says, which is why sometimes people think she's controversial, is she says women don't like that. Like they don't want to be astray because, and she would say, well, some women say they're totally fine with it while presenting all of the symptoms of not being fine. And I was like, oh yeah, probably. So like when you're not having a good sense of containment from someone, because she mentions it's not just in romantic relationships. You can get that from your family. You can get that from maybe even a workplace or society to a lesser extent. But she said the women that are like astray, they're not doing too well. And she said they might not even realize it, but they're presenting the symptoms of someone who is not being positively contained. And so this is why it's so controversial, though, for people, because to even say that a woman wants containment, which is probably what that dude Rip from Yellowstone does, right? He probably does that. And everyone likes him. But if you were to put a label on it and say, oh, he's providing masculine containment, or Teal Swan would also say positive ownership, you say ownership and people would lose their minds. But did you watch that video of hers when she talks about positive ownership?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
It's the way that I'm really coming to understand it for myself. Is what I told you around the trust fall. It's like the trust fall is an activity where you, in theory, close your eyes and fall backwards, and you have to trust that someone's going to catch you. But for me, containment is not just, do I trust that they'll catch me? It's, can they actually hold me up when I don't prompt them. I don't say, okay, I'm coming in and I'm going to fall backwards now. Are you ready? Knowing that they have the physical strength to do it. It's a twofold part to me.
It's more mental strength is what you're talking about, though. You're not talking about like even a physical as much as the mental strength and emotional strength.
And just being sure of yourself. Like that's the thing about Rip, his character in Yellowstone, with Beth, because Beth is, my God, I love her character, but holy crap, Beth is the most eruptive, erratic, impulsive, sometimes manipulative woman. But underneath that layer, because she has had to provide containment for herself, that's why she's so pissed off at the world, is because she's had to do it all herself. She's like, I got to do it myself. If I don't do it myself, it's not going to get done. I got to protect myself at all costs. And with Rip, she lets that go. She knows that if she can't do it, he's going to help her do it, but he's not going to get in her way either. He's going to go, Beth is doing what Beth is doing. And when I know when I need to step in and be there for her without like stomping on her autonomy. Like it is a dance. It is a very specific dance, and I think that you can only really do that with someone that you have true compatibility with. I think there has to be an element of compatibility where you know how to move around each other, and it's not really anything you can really explain. It just is.
Here's the thing, though. Does he take disrespect from her? Like, does she mistreat him?
No, I personally don't think so.
I don't know. I haven't watched the show, so I don't know.
You can tell she respects the shit out of him. Like, she really, in all of her impulsive, behavior and the way she is, like, because she's pretty out there, but she respects Rip. So she speaks to Rip differently. She's pretty provocative with him and, a little more in it. Like, there's more of that
Okay.
feminine
Because
piece
this is
with her.
what I see in some of like people I coach that are men. It seems like the women in their lives, they're missing that respect component for them. Because when they tell me how they're being talked to, it's like, so the guys will be like, I'm trying to have boundaries, I'm trying to be assertive, but then I'm hearing how the woman's talking to them, and I'm like, you know what? There's just a missing piece here. They are not respecting you. Like, the person that respects you is not going to call you like a P word, is not going to be like you are a coward, you're going to run away, you're going to abandon us, and just talk down to them and belittle them. It's like, you don't talk to someone you respect like that. And it's like, how do you get that point if you don't have it? And to me, what I say to them is, there's really if they're not going to listen to your words and they're not going to be intimidated enough by your just presence in your words, the only thing left to do is to walk away. Like, that's the only thing that's going to communicate, I'm not going to accept being treated that way. There's nothing else you can do. Now, granted, because like some women who get disrespectful like that, they get into a world of hurt too, because some guys really don't give a hoot, and they'll mistreat them right back. And so then it gets into a bad situation. But like for guys who aren't going to do that, the only thing left to do is walk away. If they're not going to respect your words and respect your boundaries, and everything's going to be your fault because they have that character disorder issue, what's left to do? That's why that respect piece, the respect piece is a prerequisite of a strong foundation. Without the respect piece, you shouldn't even be thinking about making a foundation with somebody. So I would thought that would be self-explanatory, but perhaps it's not self-explanatory. So because people wind up in these positions where they're with a partner who doesn't respect them. And maybe in the best case, you could say, well, maybe they did respect them in the beginning, and maybe they lost respect for them over time, in the best case. But I don't know. Does this happen to you?
Yeah, that's that. So I am a person who like, and I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but I am loyal to you until I literally can't stand your ass. Like that, like you
I'm that way.
yeah, like you have to push me to a point of no return. And when I get there, I'm just done. Like I am done. I have the, like, I don't know, maybe like we would call it a bit of a split. It's like, cause I do know that
Is that
happens
really
to
a
me.
split though? Is that really a split when we've just had enough?
Because I think I make them all bad. Like, granted, it doesn't, for me, because I have the object, I don't look at a person as an object. I can see them as a human being with feelings and needs and wants. But for me, after a period of time, and it's not like 5 seconds, it's like months and years even, where a person either repeatedly lets me down, they repeatedly hurt me, they repeatedly, like, it doesn't necessarily need to be abusive, right? It's just crap. And then I'm like, you know what? I can't I can't stay in this union with you, this relationship or this friendship, and still respect myself, because what ends up happening is I can feel that I am leaning into mistreating, like, like we could even say, like, maybe I could lean into some more abusive things, not intentionally, but like I'm so fucking angry that I'm maybe being dismissive or a bit minimizing. And so when I start getting into that realm with a person, I'm like, whoa, full stop. Like, you have to seriously take accountability for this and look at this. Like, you can't, if a person harms you and mistreats you and you don't have respect for them, you kind of have to make a choice. Like, can you continue this relationship, and do you want to work on it and be like involved in it? Or do you say, like, I sign off?